The integumentary system consists of the epidermis, dermis, and the hypodermis. The epidermis is composed of epithelial cells. It is not vascularized, and the nutrients and oxygen diffuse from capillaries to the dermis. It consists of 4 to 5 distinct layers, and a new epidermis is regenerated every 24 to 25 days. The dermis is made up by strong, flexible connective tissue and binds the entire body together. It consists of fibroblasts, macrophages, mast cells, and white blood cells. The dermis is vascularized and holds hair follicles, oil glands, sweat glands, and larger blood vessels and nerve fibers. Along with blood vessels, dense irregular connective tissue, elastin fibers. The dermis contains collagen, and this helps bind water molecules in order to hydrate the skin. Water is key to hydrating skin and is composed of 1 oxygen and 2 hydrogens that are held together by a hydrogen bond. The hypodermis is not technically a layer of the skin. The hypodermis has more adipose than dermis and functions as an energy reservoir and thermal isolation. The most superficial layer of the skin is stratum corneum. It is composed of 15 to 30 layers of keratinized cells and sheds and replaces every 2 weeks. The keratinized cells is a layer of dead protective cells filled with keratin. Stratum corneum loses interstitial fluid by evaporation, which means the fluid converts to vapor. This losing of the fluid is a type of insensible perspiration. A human does not feel this fluid evaporating. Above stratum granulosum is the layer stratum lucidum. It is only found in thick skin, like soles of the feet or palms of the hands. The layer above stratum spinosum is stratum granulosum. This layer stops dividing and starts producing keratin and keratin. This layer produces protein fibers that die and create a layer of keratin surrounded by keratin. The layer above stratum basale is stratum spinosum, or the spiny layer. It is produced by the division of stratum basal cells that are pushed up. This layer contains 8 to 10 layers of keratinocytes bound by desmosomes. Keratinocytes are cells that produce keratin, the most common cell of the epidermis. Keratin is a fibrous protein that makes up hair and nails. This layer also contains immune response cells. The deepest layer of the epidermis is the stratum germinativum, or stratum basal. This layer is attached to the basal lamina and forms a strong bond between epidermis and the dermis. Stratum germinativum contains melanocytes. Melanocytes are cells containing the pigment melanin that gives skin its darker or lighter colors and protects from UV radiation. In the dermis, there are sweat glands, also called sudoriferous glands. These glands exist all over the skin except nipples and genitalia. Sweat glands are divided into 2 types, eccrine and apocrine. Eccrine glands excretes water and electrolytes and flushes chemicals and microorganisms from the skin. This gland is abundant in the palms, soles, feet, or forehead. The sweat released is 99% water and releases by exocytosis. Eccrine sweat glands are sensible perspiration, which basically means you can feel and see the sweat. This perspiration is water excreted by sweat glands. When someone is working out, for example, the body needs to reach the heat capacity in order to raise the temperature of the body. Then the body starts sweating to maintain the body temperature. Apocrine sweat glands excrete a sweat that is more viscous because it has fatty acids and proteins. This gland is more common in armpit and anogenital regions, and the ducts only empty into hair follicles. Apocrine sweat is odorless but creates body odor when decomposed by bacteria. Doesn't sun just feel amazing? The human body must have vitamin D to absorb calcium and promote bone growth. The sun gives off UV radiation, or sunlight, which is a necessity to the human body because it boosts vitamin D levels in the body. The body can use cholesterol to make a significant amount of vitamin D. When someone is lacking vitamin D, cholecalciferol is a vitamin D3, which is used to treat the lack of vitamin D. The skin is a major component to human survival. It protects deeper tissue from damage. It is waterproof, stretchable, washable, and repairs cuts and rips. And the skin is guaranteed to last a lifetime, but only if we take great care of it by keeping it hydrated and consuming all the necessary vitamins.